This is another episode of Thirsty for Knowledge Thursdays, weekly webinar series brought to you by the Ares Foundation for Financial Education, Inc. We're going to be talking about wants versus needs, or can I delay today for a better tomorrow? So we're going to start with give it to me now, right? And it says you cannot spend $1 today and expect $1 to be available for tomorrow. But it's this whole conversation about, can I hold off? Can I wait and not buy something today so that I have the money available for tomorrow or for something else? Every decision you make is a retirement decision because every dollar you spend today is not going to be available to you in the future. Really, that's the problem with this. All of this conversation about, well, delay, hold off on spending, put the money aside, really starts to get, in some cases, very, very constrictive or restrictive feeling for people. And they just start to say, well, the heck with that. I'm just living my life. It really is trying to find that mix that works, that you can enjoy your life now. You just have to be cognizant that there are ramifications down the line to overspending or not saving.
We've shown some time charts in the past. It's very, very difficult, almost impossible to make up for that time when you're trying to get in that last 10 years. So this is why the earlier you start looking at this, the less you actually have to give up as you're going forward to have a secure retirement.
It's okay to spend, it's all right. It's just, you really need to be thinking about that trade-off. Is there such a thing as good debt?
Actually, there is. Good debt is anything that actually has an increasing value. You're putting the money in, but you're going to get more of what you out over time.
When we talk about debt, one of the things with debt is what we call recognizing debt, or just understanding debt, when it can become that sort of angst, if you will. These are all signs that debt needs to be dealt with. One of the things is you need to be looking at debt as part of a savings plan. You have to understand the cost of debt. So this is just a real simple, hey, at 12.5% interest, which I know in today's world sounds a little crazy, but if you read the fine print on some of those credit cards, 12.5 it's like middle of the road. This just says, hey, I borrowed $10,000, or like Craig said, maybe it was $10,000 for the car, and I had 12.5%. The minimum monthly payments are $890 to pay it off in 1 year. It still cost me almost $700 to do that. But if I go out 5 years with that, where the payments say, well, the payments are much more affordable. I can afford $225 to pay this off and pay it off in 5 years. But it cost me, $3,500 to do that. And if it takes me 10 years, it almost cost me the same amount to get in as it did in interest. A cooling off period of waiting for 24 hours even, just one day, just saying, all right, I really wanted to buy it, but you know what? I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna think about it, gonna go review it and just see, and then if I'm still amped for it, I still want to buy it, then I'll come back and buy it. But you're giving yourself that cooling down, like, wait a minute, do I really need to buy this now? The time value of money is not that hard of a concept to grasp, but when you read the definition there where it says, hey, the dollar today is worth more than $1 tomorrow, because it doesn't have the same buying power, right? And that's because of inflation. Inflation inevitably is going to cost something to be more expensive in the future. So the same dollar that I have today may only be, 5 years from now worth like 94 cents or 93 cents. So when you think about it, when you look at where we are today, and this is, the whole idea of where money is right now and where interest rates and banking is, that you're not keeping pace with inflation. So you're losing money basically by having the money sitting in the bank.
So your money's never stronger than it is today.
It's the idea of having the money work for you so that you can possibly have that same buying power into the future, or possibly more. It's the opportunity causes that you're choosing to do something with your money today that you then can't go down the path and say, I want to use it for this other thing later on. And risk versus return. So return, as it says, that's what we're talking about, compounding of interest. We're talking about the growth on an investment. It's the fun and happy side. For every upside, the more I try to get from my portfolio, from my investments, the more opportunity I have to experience downside loss. So you need to be going back in and looking at the portfolio and just making sure it aligns with where you are today from a risk perspective.
Yeah, but they can be really confusing, Tom, can't they? I mean, what is one of the bigger trends right now? A lot of those target-dated funds. Is that what you're seeing?
Right, the target date.
And what's the nice part about them? That they automatically adjust as you get closer to retirement? As far as
So they manage the risk of the portfolio.
Mhm.
Generally, the longer out we are, the more risk we're going to take. And as I say to everybody, so the 2045 fund is the same as the 2050 is the same as the 2055 fund. There's no real difference right now.
Right.
It's not until you get closer to the retirement years. And in the most case, for most of these portfolios, their retirement target date, the portfolio actually is at moderate. It's at a balanced level when it hits the target date. I mean, 50% in equities and 50% in bonds or
Right.
fixed.
Because
Then it starts to get more conservative now that you've gone past your target retirement date.
you're not drawing all your money out at once, so you don't want to just go all conservative yet.
Correct, because they know that you have to make it last and you've got to work and go through it. So yes, that's the whole idea behind it.
Have questions? Ask us. We can help with that. You can email Craig at crichardson@aresfoundation.org, or you can visit the website to learn more about what we do and how we might be able to help you. www.aresfoundation.org. Want to see more of this recording? Go to www.aresfoundation.org/events. If you know an organization or community support group that could benefit from one of our workshops, reach out to Tom T. Alessi at aresfoundation.org. Our mission is trying to help everyone have a better relationship with their money.